Yo guys, what's up and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how Wheezy makes unique samples and beats for people like Gunna and Young Thug in the style of So Much Fun. So y'all already heard the sample, now I'm going to break it down and show y'all how I mixed it, and then I'm going to show y'all how I made a beat to it. And thank y'all for 1000 subscribers. To celebrate that, I dropped my free stash kit. Drum kit with 99% of the drum sounds I use, including textures and perc loops as well. And for the bonus version, which is $9.99, you will get 5 of my recent loops, 10 melody midis and 10 hi-hat midis because y'all asked for that. Make sure to like and subscribe, I would really appreciate that. And yeah guys, let's go. So I started off with using Session Horns Pro with the key switch edition, and I used the Vintage Horns preset, and I laid down this simple pattern, used the D1 note for the articulation, and it's pretty repetitive, but I switched it up in the last part from each 4 bars, and the pattern I laid down is sounding like this. And for the effects on these horns, I used this Valhalla vintage verb. I tweaked the mix, the decay and the low cut. And I used this Fruity Parametric EQ2 just for a simple low cut. Then for the next thing, I used Contact with the Adno 6 bank. I don't know how this flute is pronounced, it's a flute though. I laid down this pretty simple and repetitive pattern. It fitted pretty well and it sounds like this. And for these real instrument VSTs, make sure to play with the velocity and maybe offset some notes, just that it sounds more realistic. And for the effects on this flute, I use this Valhalla vintage verb again. I play with the mix and the decay. Then I use this Soothe, just to get rid of all the unwanted and unnecessary frequencies. And then this EQ just to get rid of all the lows. And for the next thing, I use Contact with the Giant bank. And I choose the default preset. And I laid down this pretty simple and repetitive pattern again, just for some background texture. And as y'all can see, I played with the velocities and I strummed it a bit just to make it more realistic sounding. And this is how the finished pattern sounded like. And for the effects on this piano, I used the Fruity Chorus with the default preset, I think. Then this Fruity Flanger with the default preset again. Then this Valhalla vintage verb, and I tweaked the mix and the decay. And then this EQ just to get rid of some of the lows and some of the highs, just that it gives like a nice texture in the background. For the next thing, I had this loop, perc loop for my stash kit. It's just there to give it more of like a full feeling, and this is how it sounds like. And for the effects on the perc loop, I just used this EQ just to tuck it like fully in the background. Then for the last thing, which is the bass, I used this bass, which is named Ferno. It's from one of Furnace Bason's kits. And I laid down this pretty simple pattern. And the pattern I laid down is sounding like this. And for the effects on the bass, I just used a simple EQ just to get rid of all the muddy lows, and I put it almost fully in mono. Then after that, I ran out the sample out and pitched it up too. As you can see, I chopped it up and played with it. This would be the normal sample. Basically what I did was just taking these 3 parts and reversing this one, pitching it down, reversing that one and just left it normal, and then reversed that one and pitched it up by 12. And this is basically what I did the whole time, and it gives it like a pretty nice bounce and just a different feeling because I didn't like the original loop, so I just decided to play with it and make it sounding unique. And then after I was done chopping up the sample, I ran at it again, pitched it up 3, and this is how the finished sample is sounding like. So now I just open up the FLP for the finished beat. I just took the sample and pitched it up 2 again. And then for the first thing I did to the beat was dragging in the hit hi-hat, from my stash drum kit, and I just laid down this pretty complex pattern. I just placed rolls where I think they would fit, and this is the finished hi-hat pattern. Then for the next thing I used this pyrex clap from my stash kit again, and I just used the normal clap pattern. And then for the next thing I used this 808 snare from my stash kit again, and laid down this pretty repetitive snare pattern which sounded like this. Then after that I used this flare snare from my stash kit again, and laid down this pretty simple pattern. Then for the second last thing I used this short openhat from my stash kit again. Make sure to get that, it's free and it has pretty nice sounds. And I just had this simple pattern on the 1 and the 3, and it sounds like this. And then for the last thing I had this 808 pattern, which is pretty simple. It's just a basic 808 pattern with a few notes up. And now I'm going to play out the finished beat. So yeah guys, if you all enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to follow me on all my socials, the links for that will be in my description. And make sure to get my free stash kit, the link for that will be in the description as well. It's all my favorite drum sounds I use in almost all of my beats for free. And I hope I see you all in the next videos, and thank you all for this crazy support. And yeah guys, see you all.